Hello, friends. How are you? So I know exactly who's on right now, and that includes my buddies, either Ray and or Sharon and John. So welcome. Oh, and there's somebody new. I don't know who that is. I don't know if I
We've
can
got
tell.
Mitch has joined us.
And oh, so two local guys and my wonderful clients in Elkton, Maryland are on right now. So I don't know which one it is because they both go by. Well, their email is Ray or Sharon, so I don't know. But hello. Hey, we're going to go in a couple of minutes. As you can tell, it's kind of a little taking a while for people to get on the call. But as you can see, the two fellows here, Jeff is from Florida. He is our rep for the Rocky Mountaineer, and Richard is in LA, and he's our rep for AmaWaterways. So that's we have a new person too, so that's great. We'll just wait a couple of minutes to just get a cocktail or cup of coffee, depending on what part of the country you're in, and we'll be right back to you.
There you go.
Can we chat? Do we have the option of chatting here?
Yeah, so everybody that has joined so far, so both Jeff and myself, Rocky Mountaineer and AmaWaterways, we're both going to cover about a 20, maybe 25 minutes a piece, just doing a really nice overview on both of our respective products. There is a chat box or a questions box. I would actually encourage you to use a questions box. If you have any questions, we'll do our very best to get to those at the end of the presentation. It is going to be recorded. So this is something that Josh will be able to share out afterwards. If you miss anything, there's always going to be an opportunity to catch this afterwards. But thank you guys for joining. We're looking forward to getting started soon.
Yes, and welcome to anybody new who I haven't said hello to in the last couple of minutes. So let's just wait, sorry, another couple of minutes and see who pops on the call. Meanwhile, I can report that, well, John knows, but right now it's like 85 degrees in Palm Springs. It's like crazy. It's like crazy nice. And you can see the fan is going behind my head. Of course, the fan's going behind Jeff's head in Florida too.
It is.
Richard, I see like flashing lights where you are. So.
You see flashing lights here?
Flashing lights, yeah. It looks like you're on a movie set or something. Can't tell.
Oh, wow. Oh, darn it. That's too bad. I wonder if it's
No, it's fine. It's probably just your computer screen.
I don't want to be too distracting.
Jeff has a halo above his head, and I have a fan coming out of my right ear. So I mean, it's just it's Zoom of 2021.
That's right.
So
that's right.
what time is it? Yeah, let's wait another minute. Okay. So what should I say? What else can I update everybody on? Don't know. Trends in travel. So South America, strangely enough, very popular. I have two big bookings for cruises in South America next January. One couple is going to be doing around South America for 2 months, and another couple, and they're not on the call, are doing it for 3 weeks. So so that's good. I can also remind you that the next couple of weeks we're having webinars with Seaboard Cruise Line, a luxury ocean-going company, and also Abercrombie & Kent, the international luxury tour operator, coming live from Tanzania. So that should be pretty cool. All right, well, I think we've waited long enough. So why don't we get started? So Jeff, I believe you're on.
Well, thank you, Josh. And before I go any further, I want you all to know, many of you already know Josh really well. You're in such great hands. He is a preferred partner of Rocky Mountaineer, a true expert when it comes to the travel and tourism industry. Yep, seriously, you are. You're good at what you do. Not only is he really knowledgeable on both AmaWaterways, Rocky Mountaineer, he has a lot of great tools and resources to share with you. Some of you may have already seen great 1 to 2 minute videos on multiple routes that we have, 1 to 2 minute videos on our service levels. So rest assured, you're working with such a great guy, Josh, and I can't thank you enough, Josh, for setting this up. Really do appreciate it. And let's get started. First, let's just address the elephant in the room. Yes, we're under a pandemic, not really great times, but know that Rocky Mountaineer has enhanced their screening and prevention procedures to, really help with peace of mind moving forward. Please know that at the time of operating, and we're going to be focusing tonight on our US routes, our brand new route that we've just expanded to. When we start operating, which will be mid-August, we will follow strict guidelines on whatever the CDC and the WHO recommends. We'll be checking everyone's temperatures. At the time of operating, if they recommend social distancing, we may be looking at limiting the capacity on board our train cars. The cool thing about a train is you can add more cars, like an accordion, and spread people out, maintaining social distance. We have air filtration systems on board our train cars that kill 99.99% of all floating particles, bacteria, germs, all that nasty stuff. Really, it's all about safety and health being the utmost importance. And so just rest assured, we will do it all, whatever it takes. And I really believe with the climate only getting warmer in this country as we get closer to this. Sorry, someone in the background. Hello? Let me just see if I can mute someone here because there was some TV on in the background. There we go. Hopefully that helped. So just saying, as the climate gets warmer in this entire country, we get closer to the summer, as the vaccines are continually being distributed, I really believe that, only good things can come out of this. And I'm praying that hopefully by the summer, midsummer, maybe we'll have herd immunity. The goal is to get 80% of the country vaccinated. And with Johnson & Johnson coming to the table with a 1-dose vaccine, this can only help our cause. So staying optimistic, staying positive, and just rest assured that Rocky Mountaineer is not going anywhere. We're only growing and expanding. So now let's get to the fun stuff. Who is Rocky Mountaineer? We are a train and tour operator. Been based for 30 years in the Canadian Rockies, privately owned. We are a luxury, fine dining, seamless travel experience where you'll never sleep on board. You stay in hotels every night because if you're sleeping, you're missing the sights, the scenery, the wildlife, the wilderness. Now this year, 2021, the first year, we have now expanded into our backyard, the US Rockies, taking you from Denver over to Moab or vice versa. These trips can be both eastbound or westbound or even round trip Denver. If you were traveling westbound starting in the US Rockies, you'll have our incredible train. Mind you, there's no freight on these train tracks that we're operating on. Therefore, we will have no delays whatsoever. There's only one other train that we're sharing these train tracks with, but that's Amtrak. Amtrak is very different from what we have to offer. With Amtrak, you sleep on board. Rocky Mountaineer, remember, never sleep on board. When it comes to speed, our average speed is only 30 miles an hour, and we slow down to less than 5 miles an hour for all the vistas, the canyons, the wildlife, the wilderness. Over 60% of these train tracks follow the mighty Colorado River. And a majority of the places we're taking you to, I'll show you some pictures in just a little bit, some of these beautiful canyons and the unique topography in this land is only accessible by train, no motor coach or a vehicle of any kind. So if you are starting westbound, you really have the best yet to come, similar to how we operate in Canada, taking you from Vancouver over to the Canadian Rockies. Know that Rocky Mountaineer handles your hotels, transfers, tours, meals on board the train, and now we're even including meals on many of our itineraries off the train. We pretty much handle everything except airfare, but don't worry, you got Josh to take care of you. Just tell Josh what you want to do, when you want to do it, with the budget that works best for you. And he'll be able to customize and put together a true trip of a lifetime that you're going to have really to look forward to over this 2021 season. This goes from mid-August, and it was just approved today going until November 19th. You are one of the first people to hear this new extension of time. It was supposed to go till mid-October, but due to the demand that we are seeing, we really were able to increase the amount of time offered on board this beautiful trip here, going until November 19th. If you were going eastbound, you can see these two green dotted lines starting in Salt Lake City, Utah, or Las Vegas, Nevada. There's not really an airport close to Moab. So we've set up transfers, and of course, on your way there, you're going to be stopping at places like Canyonlands National Park, Zion, Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, the mighty Colorado River. Arches, of course, is just minutes away from Moab. We're the only train in the world taking you into Moab, which is in the center of all the national parks in Utah. So if you're traveling eastbound, you'll be having more active, busy, really a lot of sightseeing, incredible days up front. and then have the last 2 or 3 days to really get just pampered in luxury and fine dining as you're continuing heading east over to Denver. I hear people say all the time, I need a vacation from a vacation. If you go eastbound, you're giving your body that amount of rest from that vacation of just been, moving every day and seeing so much. Now you get to rest your body, and that really does answer it that well. So it's your choice whether you want to go eastbound or westbound. Let's get a little bit more into the depth of these actual routes. When it comes to luggage, we make it extremely seamless. We'll take your luggage and put it on a truck. The only thing to bring on a train with you is your camera, camcorder, wallet, cell phone, purse, ID, medication. Keep it light and keep it simple. When you get to places like Glenwood Springs, before you even get off the train, you've already been checked into the hotel. We're going to give you your hotel room key. You'll hop off the train, head over to your hotel, and find your room. Inside your room, your luggage will be waiting for you next to your bed. In order to minimize the calories you're burning, we ask you to leave your luggage exactly how you found it next to your bed. You will see it at the next destination. A true seamless transition. If you are going to be going westbound, you board the train at 9 a.m. Really taking a nice slow pass. And please know the captions on your screen here, like Byers Canyon, the Burns, they're not referencing that's the side of the train tracks these are on. That's just how the slide was built. But you'll be having breakfast and lunch on board the train with incredible chefs. And I'll talk about the service in just a little bit. Breakfast and lunch arriving in Glenwood Springs at around 5 p.m. Some of the sites you'll see along the way from Red Canyon, incredible sites. Also Byers Canyon, Gross Reservoir Dam. On your second day, you'll be boarding the train at 7 a.m., having breakfast on board as you're continuing heading west over to Moab. If you were going to be going eastbound, you would board in Moab at around 2 p.m., having dinner on board as you head into Glenwood Springs, arriving around 6:37 p.m. And on your second day, mirroring what we just did on day one going westbound, you'd board at 9 a.m., arrive at 5 p.m. with breakfast and lunch served on board. Some of the unique sites you'll see here, you can see the topography in the land changing dramatically, getting into a lot more of less greenery, less trees, more red rocks. You have right here the Mount Garfield, also into the LaSalle Mountains and the Book Cliffs, really getting into the best that Utah's known for, these amazing national parks. The class of service we're using is both operating in US and the Canadian Rockies. It's our Silverleaf train cars. Silverleaf is a single-story car, panoramic views with an arch window at the top. You have an outdoor vestibule area on all these train cars that holds easily 6 to 8 people. You can go outside anytime you like, take pictures and video, take a breath of fresh air, soak in that scenery as it passes by. On board, you have 3 hosts or hostesses who are going to handle all the commentary, telling you what's coming up ahead, what's outside your window, providing history, cultural facts, storytelling, and jokes, keeping you entertained and aware of everything. Alcohol is completely built into the package on the train and totally included. We're looking at using some local wineries throughout this area, as well as even some local breweries, which is quite exciting. And when it comes to food, we have incredible chefs cooking made-to-order food. Here on these tracks, we're using Southwest cuisine because we're in the area of the southwest of the country. So incredible food delivered at your seat. This will be plated and brought to you. You're looking at 1 to 2 appetizer options, 2 to 3 entree options, and a dessert option that changes daily for breakfast, lunch, sometimes dinner, pending your itinerary. Now, for those of you who know Rocky Mountaineer, you may have heard of a class of service called Gold Leaf. That's a 2-story car. Unfortunately, there's a series of tunnels on these tracks that don't allow the height of our Gold Leaf car to pass through. So what we've done is developed and are now bringing you a brand new class of service called Silverleaf Plus. What this is going to be is not only will you have your Silverleaf car, we're going to be attaching our lounge cars. And now the picture you're seeing in front of your screen right now is nothing what it's going to look like. Our lounge cars are completely being renovated, gutted, and built to be brand new. This will hopefully be done by the end of March. So if you do upgrade to Silverleaf Plus, make sure you ask Josh for some great images. And I promise as soon as we have them, he will have them as well. The Silverleaf Plus is going to have a mixologist on board, crafting signature cocktails along your whole entire journey. More variety of food options to choose from, on top of a ton more space to move around, both inside and another outdoor veranda space to take advantage of. So for just $395 per person, you're getting twice as much space to move around, a ton more alcohol, premium alcoholic beverages, a ton more food options, and really it's all about the enhancing your experience on these incredible days on board the train, heading east or west through this beautiful part of the world. We have a total of 9 different packages that are set up, and I'm going to share with you 3 of these packages right now. And I actually have to get my notes because I didn't memorize the cost of these trips, but I'm sure maybe some of you are interested in that. So here it is. The classic package, 2 days on the train, 3-night hotel accommodation. This would be ideal for those of you who really have already done the big 5 and are looking for something unique and different. You want to do our training experience. Maybe you don't have that much free time to be able to get away, but this gets you a little bit of away. But it's our entry package. And once again, we have a total of 9 packages. This is just showing you 3. This package starts at $16.35 USD per person. Our second one that's getting some good definite demand is our Rockies to Red Rocks Discovery Self-Drive. Discovery Self-Drive is something that people are asking for more, aka renting a car. So we've been able to build more rental cars into our packages. That allows you to perhaps not be around people you don't know or feel uncomfortable with, given this COVID-19 that we're all experiencing. So here you have 2 days on the train, 5-night hotel accommodations, 3-day full-size car rental. And while you're heading from Moab to Salt Lake City, Utah, we are going to have tours set up for you at Canyonlands National Park, all starting at $2,695. This one I like a lot, either to or from Las Vegas. It's our Explore package. Here, 7-night hotel accommodation, 5 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 dinners built into the entire itinerary itself. 3 days of tours by motor coach with a tour guide on board, telling you what's coming up ahead, answering all the questions you may have. We have drink stations on board our motor coaches, of course, a restroom, because when you drink too much, you know what you got to do. And with these tours of 3 days, you're going to be stopping at Arches National Park, going to visit the Balance Rock Windows Delicate Arch Viewpoint. You'll be stopping in Colorado River, the Bryce Canyon, Zion, and so much more. This just starts at $3,425 per person. So once again, there's just 3 different itineraries out of 9 that are currently built. We're going from mid-August to November 19th, mid-November, right before Thanksgiving. And in 2022, we hope to have our sales and dates out by the end of March, beginning of April 2021. So definitely coming around the corner. But I've saved the best news for last. In regards to booking, we know these are uncertain times. And before COVID, Rocky Mountaineer for 30 years was always non-refundable. Well, given these challenging, uncertain times, we changed, enhanced our terms and conditions. So for the first time ever, to lock in the dates you want to go, the hotels you want, all it takes is 20% down. That is completely risk-free, 100% refundable, up to 30 days prior to your departure. You have no risk, pretty much. At 30 days, your final payment would be due. But we are seeing, like I said before, a lot of demand. In fact, in 4.5 months of selling this new route, we've surpassed 9 million in new bookings. And so I recommend, if you're interested in traveling in 2021, you don't want to wait till 2022. You want to get out. You've already perhaps renovated your house and you made it all beautiful. Now it's time to get out and see the world. Well, we're going to be operating no matter what. There's no restrictions to getting onto our train. We will follow, once again, strict guidelines on whatever the CDC and the WHO recommend. And for the first time ever, it's 100% risk-free, money-back guarantee if you want. And you also are giving 2 free date changes. You can change your trip up to 2023. So another big flexible opportunity you have with the new terms and conditions that we've put in place. And so, I mean, really, I share with you everything I could in a matter of 20 minutes. It's pretty good. And now I'm going to throw it over to my good friend, Richard, who's going to talk all about AmaWaterways and what's going on with them. So give me 1 second while I switch the screen here.
Is it okay if I butt in and ask you a question, Jeff, real fast?
By all means, please.
So I have 3 questions. Single supplements.
We have solo rates for sure on all of our trips, because we're seeing a lot of people wanting to experience this, and not because they're looking to meet other people. It's they're solo travelers. They want to still travel and see the world, and so solo rates is something we definitely have.
Okay, question number 2. What's the size of the coach and the number of people?
For a motor coach or for the train car?
For the motor coach.
Motor coach, I believe it's looking at around 58, but due to COVID and everything, we may be limiting the capacity on board these motor coaches, spreading people out once again, like I said before. So we will have to wait till times get closer until we know how operations is going to be. And once again, we will do whatever it takes to maintain safety and health. But I believe it's around 58 is the max. And usually we're probably going to, I mean, most likely we're already trying to look at around 30 people max for our train cars. So it's probably going to be around 30 to 28 or so, or 25 on these motor coaches.
Okay,
Unless
and food and drink is all inclusive on the train as well as on the motor coach.
So there are certain packages that have certain meals outside of the train. You're correct on your first statement. All food and drink is built into the package, included on the train. Outside of the train, there are some itineraries that do include breakfasts, include dinners, include lunches. Okay. It's a case-by-case basis. You also are able to add more meals so that it's an all-inclusive. The only thing we won't do and we can't do is work with airlines. Everything else we can customize to a certain way, add some meals here and there to make it truly an all-inclusive experience.
And the last question, thank you, that's very helpful. Around how much time per day is spent on a motor coach?
So they've told me that with these trips, because I'm only going off of my training, but they've said that you'll be no more on a motor coach for more than 1 hour and 15 minutes straight. There's no other time. You're always going to be stopping. You're always going to be going to do different sightseeing and everything like that. So they said 1 hour and 15 is the longest they will ever have you on a motor coach, unless of course there's traffic or something else. You can't really, figure that. But this is I think we're really set up with some great tourist operations out there in this part, and they've done it for quite some time. So I believe things are going to be just flawless when we start operating, for sure.
Thanks. Now, Richard, I'm not going to ask you that question because not unless you have any Olympic swimmers, would I think anybody would want to get off the ship and walk. So
right. That's right.
Anyway.
So Jeff, thanks for that amazing presentation to some beautiful destinations, in addition to when Canada opens up to do some of those routes that you have up there also. I had the pleasure to work for this company in the past. It's an amazing company, amazing product too. So it certainly has my vote. Want to talk a little bit about river cruising and share really what makes it special with AmaWaterways. So a couple things that I'm looking to cover in addition to that are really some of the destinations that we travel to. Just to give you an overview, I'm not going to spend too much time delving too deep into these, but just to really give you a highlight of what some of those destinations are, what some of our new products are that are just being introduced this year and kind of going forward, what you have to look forward to. And then I thought it would be important to share what I call a state of the business update to let you know what we've been doing up to this point and how we plan to move forward once we're able to get all of our ships sailing and back on the water. And then just once again, if you have any questions, please drop them in the questions box and we'll do our best to get to those. But if you, I'm going to go back a slide here. Didn't mean to move too quick. I love this slide for a number of reasons. I've been in the travel industry for a number of years. I love all forms of travel, a number of different ways that you can enjoy that. I love ocean cruising. I've done a number of different ocean cruises, and don't misunderstand me. I love that form of travel, but there's something really wonderful, unique, a bit more intimate, and I think a bit more immersive when it comes to river cruising. So if you've never done river cruising, I always tell people the similarities with ocean cruising are about the fact that you unpack once. Beyond that, it's really quite different. Far fewer people on board. Our ships on average hold a capacity of about 150 guests. We are not in international waters at any time. We are always within country limits. So that's going to be something different as well. Don't got to worry about seasickness on calm waters the entire time, but we can dock in the heart of these cities. In some instances, literally when you get off the ship, a few steps in, you're on those historic cobblestone streets. So just a really wonderful way to travel. The other thing that I would mention is that the river ships are really not not the destination. We really create them to be your luxury floating hotel. We're taking you to and through the destination. We're the highest rated cruise ships throughout Europe. There's a company called Berlitz, and Berlitz actually goes out on to experience a number of different these vessels in addition to ocean cruising, but they go on as mystery shoppers. So we never are aware when they're going to step on board. And then once they get off the ship, they rate it. They rate the cuisine, they rate the short tour program, the staff on board, a number of different things, the accommodations. And we are the highest rated river cruise company out there on the waters right now. So I thought that was important to note. In terms of where we travel, lots of places that we travel, 14 rivers and waterways, 23 countries, 33 itineraries. We're on 3 continents. I'll talk a little bit more in depth on some of these exotic destinations from Egypt, the Chobe River, the Mekong River. But just to look at the broad map of Europe for a moment, because this really is where probably 90% of our itineraries operate on. We've got the wonderful Danube River. We've got the upper Danube, which operates between Budapest, Hungary, making its way all the way up to Vilshofen, Germany. That's going to be one of the most popular areas, certainly for first timers. Then we've got the lower Danube, which operates between Budapest, making their way all the way down to the countries of, continuing from Hungary. There's stops in Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria. And then we have pre and post options with all of our different sailings. So for this one, you can extend your stay, spend some additional nights in Budapest, either on the front or back end, depending which direction you're traveling. You can extend it into Transylvania if you're doing that lower Danube, or even Turkey. On the upper Danube, we've got some extensions into Prague, Budapest once again. You can extend that over into Nuremberg. So lots of things that you can do to really expand that trip a bit further. The other river that's quite popular would be the Rhine River, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this travels through 4 countries, operating between Amsterdam, Netherlands, making its way through through Germany, through France, and then down into Switzerland. I'm sorry, Josh, did you share something by chance?
Sorry?
Okay, sorry about that. And then we've got.
I'm just looking at all these rivers really close up.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I didn't know the Danube went to Bulgaria. So.
What was that? I missed that. I'm sorry.
I didn't know the Danube went to Bulgaria.
Yes, it goes all the way down into that stretch as well too. So there's a lot of options. The 2 most popular ones for first-time river cruisers would be the Rhine or the Upper Danube specifically. Between those 2, we've got 20 some different itineraries. But then, even going further west from there, we've got all the waterways in France. So we're doing the Seine River, we're doing the Rhone and the Saône River, we're doing the Bordeaux region, doing the Dordogne and Garonne River as well. And then the Douro River, really popular, so popular in 2018, we added a second ship to that area. So lots to look at, but I want to take you just a little bit deeper into some of these. If we look at the Upper Danube, for example, I did talk about the area that it travels between Budapest, making its way up to Vilshofen. But look at all the different stops here. Just with that itinerary alone, between that stretch, we're going through 5 different countries. And then there's options again for those pre and post night stays. So some of these you can stretch out to 9 nights, even 10 or 11 nights if you want. The other really wonderful thing with AmaWaterways is that our cruise managers on board the ship join our guests before and after the cruise. So they're there to really hold your hand, point you in the right direction, make some recommendations, lead you on some different excursions. But really more importantly, I think, is that they're building that rapport before you've even stepped on board the ship. So this is a really wonderful area, especially if it's your first time cruising. Looking at the Rhine River, talked a little bit about this, some wonderful stops along the way. Cologne, Germany, certainly famous for a number of things. The beautiful Cologne Cathedral that you can see in that picture in the top right there. That cathedral took over 600 years to build. I think it was actually 632 years. They started construction in 1248, took quite some time to fully complete it. We actually dock just to the right side of this bridge that you're looking at in this picture. If you see that blue dome there on the right side, we dock just in front of that, a little bit further over to the right. So we're in the heart of these cities. It's literally about a 10-minute walk from our vessel to the front doorsteps of the Cologne Cathedral. At every port of call, we will include for you up to 4 different shore tours on average. And in addition to that, we break them up into different types of groups. We have what we call our gentle, we have our regular, and then we have our active. So our gentle would be maybe if you're traveling with some elderly parents who still want to get out, see some things, but maybe taking it at just a slower pace, that would be the one for them. We then have our regular is going to pick up the pace just a little bit more to include a few more things. And then we have our active, which may be a guided cycling tour, it may be a guided hiking tour in some cities. But in addition to that, we're always going to allow our guests some free time to go and explore on their own as well. So lots to see and explore in this, on this itinerary here. Looking at some of the exotics, the Mekong River, another really popular one. In fact, if you've never just been to Southeast Asia in general, this is just an amazing place to visit. Genuinely, some of, I think, the most warm, hospitable people on the face of the earth, not to mention the amazing cuisine. This travels between Cambodia and Vietnam. We got a northbound going down to southbound, or you can do the reverse of that. But you can add on some additional extensions and take that 7-day cruise, expand it all the way up to 16 days if you like. We've got some pre and post options. that can take you into Bangkok, Thailand. There's Ho Chi Minh City, Siem Reap, in addition to some others. So if you're traveling that far, you really may want to consider expanding that to take in some of the other things in the area. Looking at the Chobe River, similar example, you're going to travel all the way down to South Africa. What we have there is actually a 4-night cruise traveling between Namibia and Botswana area, but you don't want to travel down that far just to get on a 4-day cruise. It's an amazing 4-night safari on the beautiful Zambezi Queen, all suites and balconies on that ship. So it's really wonderful, but once again, it's quite a long way to travel. We have some different pre and post options that will include some safaris. If you want to go into Rwanda, do a gorilla trek, spend some additional time down in Johannesburg, make a trip over to Robins Island, take the old Rovos steam train up to Victoria Falls, which you see here in this picture. So lots that you can really do to expand that out and really take that 4-night cruise all the way out to 18 days if you wanted to do that. So this one, my advice would be book very far in advance. This one easily starts booking up 15 to 18 months in advance because it only has a total of 26 staterooms. So it's not a very large ship. What's new going forward, some new itineraries that I wanted to share as well with you. This one is new, called the Impressions of the Seine. This one is traveling round trip from Paris. You can see all the wonderful stops along the way, making its way all the way out to Le Havre. You can add some pre and post options to this one. If you wanted some additional nights in Paris, you can do 2 pre-nights as well as an additional post night. Or if you want to do something a little bit different, new for us is adding an extension out to Saint Malo for an additional 3 nights. But this one is really wonderful. If you've never been to this region or France in general, the best food, just wonderful stops along the way, quite different from some other parts of France as well. We've also got Essence of Burgundy and Provence. This is a new one for 2021 as well, which takes in the Saône and the Rhine River, travels between Chalon-sur-Saône all the way down to Arles. And we got some pre and post options if you want to do an additional 3 nights in Geneva or an additional 3 nights in Barcelona on the back end. So great extensions along the way. And I was talking about all those different excursions that we include for you. There's a really, really wonderful one that we include in the town of Trenow, where when you get off the ship, we're going to take you over to this amazing castle. Within that castle, we're going to take a walk into the ballroom. And in there, there's going to be a wine sommelier and a master chocolatier who's going to be doing a pairing for you. So these are some of the unique things that we put together for our AmaWaterways guests. Best of Holland and Belgium. Again, this one is a new one for us too. Now, we've always operated on the Dutch waterways. But what's different with this one is that we're operating at a different period. So we would normally do what we had as our tulip time, operating in March and April. In 2018, a couple of years ago, there were a number of low water incidences and we weren't immune to it. We had to make some changes. One thing that we did was we started operating that same itinerary a little bit later in the season, offering some additional stops and some different shore tours. Everyone loved it so much that we brought that onto our regular set of departures. So now we've got a single departure from late April operating all the way through September with some pre and post night options in Amsterdam. And if you've never been to Amsterdam, it's an amazing town, vibrant city, wonderful nightlife, excellent museums, not to mention all the canals, all the bicycles, of course, the windmills throughout here. There's the tulips, there's the wooden shoes, the cheese. I mean, this is a really wonderful itinerary. I would encourage you to look at this one. And also new for 2022, we're adding on the Floriade as an extension. If you're not familiar with the Floriade, this is for any avid horticulturalist out there. This comes around once every 10 years. And we've got this as an option for about 9 different departures. If you book the pre-trip with us on any one of the departures sailing in and out of Amsterdam, we'll include a visit here up to about 4.5 hours. So you can have a lot of time to visit there. If you did cruise only, then on the last day, you would have an option as one of your short tours to visit the Floriade for about 3.5 hours. So still quite some time there to be able to work that in. So this one, again, only comes around every 10 years. So if you're thinking ahead to 2022, that might be something you want to add to your list. And then Rhine Castles in Swiss Alps. Now, unique to this one, it's operating a lot of the same stops on the Rhine. There are a few that are different here, but what makes it really unique is that we are making a stop as a post option into Lake Como. It's our one and only stop in Italy with 3 nights there. So when you end in Basel, Switzerland, we're going to take you on a full day excursion through Lucerne, and then you'll get to spend 3 nights in Lake Como. So this, I can tell you, is receiving a lot of attention right now, and I think we're going to get some really, really good results from that. The one that it really continues to be all the hype is our Egypt and the Nile River experience. So we announced this April of 2019, but it doesn't begin sailing until September of this year. We are already 85% sold out on all of our departures starting this September through the balance of the year and well into 2022. Unique to this one, which is a little bit different from our other ones, is that the 7-day cruise, while that's included, we are also including, not as an optional, this is included into the package, 3 pre-nights in Cairo, where I guess we'll stay at the Four Seasons Cairo, a post-night also at the Four Seasons Cairo. So this is going to be an 11-night package. Some great stops. We stop in Edfu, Komombo, Aswan, and as an added opportunity, if you wanted to add this one, this is not included, it's an optional, a stop down to Abu Simbel. Abu Simbel is this amazing temple that was actually in danger of being flooded by the dam that's on the river there. So in order to preserve it, they literally cut down this entire temple very carefully, of course, and moved it about 600 feet up the side of the embankment. So that's an option to stop there. Wonderful documentaries. To see that. So that one is, again, think of adding that one to your list too. I think you'll appreciate it. And then we have some theme departures on top of it. So if you wanted to do, maybe a wine, if you like your wine, I love my wines here. We've got about 60 plus different departures that we call our celebration of wine sailings. These ones actually started as a bit of a fluke, if you will. Our owner's rooting, his wife Christine, were sailing one day, and they were actually on board with one of their friends who's actually a winemaker, and they thought it would be fun to do just a impromptu little wine tasting. It went over so well that they started off that next year by adding a couple of wine sailings. We've now grown that up to 60 plus different departures annually and a number of different rivers that we operate on. But what makes them really special is that we bring a North American wine host on board the ship, and they're leading different discussions, taking you on some different excursions, maybe to some centuries-old vineyards and estates to meet with those wine owners. They're leading different discussions and lectures on maybe how those Moselle Rieslings differ from those Alsatian Rieslings, how the old world wines differ from the new world wines. It's just a really wonderful experience. But there is no added cost to doing these. This is everything that you're going to get on a regular AmaWaterways cruise with just these added experiences. So that's something you may want to look at. I thought a fun slide on this next one was just to show all the different varietals that you can experience on some of these different Rhine cruises up in Provence, Bordeaux, Paris, and Normandy, of course, on the Danube, the Rhine, the Main, the Moselle, and the Douro Vale if you want some of those port wines. So lots to look at here. Continuing on with some other themes, we have our holiday Christmas markets. If you've never done a holiday Christmas market in Europe, you have to, and I would say specifically up in the German area, like Hungary and France, because this is really where the tradition started. We have nothing like this in North America, nothing at all. In fact, the oldest one was in Dresden, Germany, which I believe dates back to 1432. And they really created them as a way to go out, kind of, socialize around the holiday time, do some different shopping and things. What was supposed to be a one-day event ended up being an annual event. So lots of wonderful ones to include. This one right here that we're looking at happens to be in Vienna. You can taste the Glühwein in these places, pick up some wonderful different gifts and things. It is magical. You're on sensory overload. The food is amazing. Definitely something that you want to do in your lifetime. And just another picture of some of the different things that you can experience there. The last part, and I don't want to spend too long on this, especially for some of you that you may have joined some previous presentations with Joshua, but I just want to talk a little bit about what makes AmaWaterways so unique. Our crew is a big part of that. I talked about our cruise managers, the joining before and after the cruise. I can tell you honestly, with all the different responses we get from our guests, very often we're hearing more about our cruise managers than we are even the destinations that they're visiting. So they do a really, really wonderful job. Here's to look inside what is one of our typical Panoramic Lounges. This is where you're going to hear some of the evening lectures, the next day shore excursion discussions, entertainment from the pianist that's on board, a full-blown disco in the evening. Just a really fun place to gather and meet with some other folks on board. Our unique twin balcony staterooms, right? So think of the time of year that you may be traveling. We've got our French balcony on the right side, nice little sitting area there, pressed up that window all the way against the railing, get some great views. But then you also have the full step out balcony. So if it's hot or cold, you get the best option of both of those. We've also got multiple dining venues. We have our main dining restaurant, This happens to be a look at our Chef's Table restaurant. So this is a wonderful alternative dining experience, but no additional cost for this. 6-course meal, up to 4 different wine pairings. But think of it more as a tasting menu, because with each of those courses, you're going to get a choice. And if you want to try more than one thing on the menu, you can certainly do that. But an amazing experience, watching the team prepare that and plate the food and bring it out, plus those amazing views. Wonderful drinks. You know, our drinks are that we include premium beers, premium wines, all the soft drinks at every lunch, at every dinner. We have an open bar cocktail hour each evening with some signature drinks. If you want champagne mimosas at breakfast, we'll include that for you as well. Where we don't include it is after lunch, up into cocktail hour, and then after dinner. And we really do that by design, because when we're in port, we want you out there with the locals, enjoying some time in a local pub, at a local wine bar. So that has really been done by design. I talked about the short tour options, again, just giving you a lot of different choices there. The bicycles, while we do use them for the guided cycling tours, you can also reserve them on your own if you want to head out into town, explore for a couple hours. They're made available for you to do that as well. And then if you have an active, healthy lifestyle, maybe you're the person that goes to the gym every day, we've got a gym on board, but we also have a dedicated fitness instructor on board every ship, every sailing, every destination too. And we give them a lot of autonomy. Some of them will do morning yoga programs or just stretches or Pilates and things, but they do not double as your server later on in the evening. They're a certified health instructor, so they're there for all of our guests to take advantage of as well. And I'm going to kind of look to close here. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but as I'm kind of closing, I will just, I did just want to share that, like Jeff was talking about, all the things we put in place. We were the only North American river cruise line that was actually sailing in 2020. We sailed for a total of 4 months. It was actually a German company called Ehoy that chartered one of our vessels. So there weren't North American guests on there, but the reason I'm sharing this with you is because we were able to put all these things into practice, and it was a very successful season. Thank God there were no incidents of COVID reported during that entire time. It was doing 2 separate round trip sailings from Cologne, Germany. A number of people booked a second trip and even a third trip. We operated with no more than 100 guests on board. Our short tours went out with no more than between 10 to 15 guests maximum. We put together some special things like complimentary transfers, so guests didn't have to share with other people that they didn't know. We'd get a private stand or a private minivan. We put together a special in-room dining menu so that you could, have a movie night or dine on your balcony and kind of have that, freedom to do something a little bit different as well. So a lot of things in place. The last part that I will mention is that built into the structure and the architecture of all of our ships is a separate air and heating coiling system. What that basically means is that it's air in and air out of each of those rooms. So there's not air that's being circulated throughout the entire ship. So that was a lot. I know it was really kind of packed. I apologize if it felt a little bit rushed, but happy to answer any questions if anybody has questions, or Josh, if you may want to add anything.
No, I don't have any questions at all. Well, I mean, as clients probably know, I know the AMA product a lot better than the Rocky Mountain product. And I've had many clients sail on the Danube, on the Rhine, and on the Douro in Portugal, and on the Seine. So, I'm fairly familiar with that. That's why you're here twice, because you're a great company. Everybody loves the experience. So, and when you suggested to get together with Rocky Mountain because you're kind of co-companies, thought, well, you're not related, but you're similar products, one with wheels and one with a bow. So it was a perfect match. So no, I don't have any questions at all.
I did see one question come in. Somebody was asking if stopping in Amsterdam includes a tour to Bruges. So depending on what itinerary you're selecting, we do have one called the best of, or actually, if you are referring to the one that I shared as far as the new ones, that one does stop in Bruges. It's our best of Holland and Belgium. That one does make a stop in Bruges. So yes, we do. Okay. Jeff, is there anything you may want to share or add in closing also?
No, I just want to say thank you again for your time, whether you're watching this live or another time that works best for you. I really hope you all stay safe and healthy, and hopefully you'll be able to take what you've learned tonight and be able to develop a true trip of a lifetime with Josh's help over the very near future. And of course, once again, please reach out to Josh. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he's going to be able to definitely put together something that you're going to look forward to over the coming years, if not months. And really thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jeff, a ton. Is that it, Richard? Any other questions anybody has?
I don't see any other questions at this
No?
time. No, I don't.
Well, they know how to get a hold of me, so not a problem. And I'll be sending out an email follow-up to everybody. You know, with a, how long is it gonna take until we get this up on video that I can share?
I should have something for you by tomorrow, Josh.
Okay, great. So I'll send out an email maybe over the weekend. Well, I
Very
thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, both of you. And to everybody who signed into the call. So
Absolutely.
have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye. Be safe.